Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so delighted to welcome you to the inaugural concert in the Simsbury Grange concert series. So thank you very much for coming. This is a very special day for us to launch this concert series. And we've had a lot of support for music at the Grange, and we want to keep that going, hopefully on a weekly basis, because this is a wonderful space for everyone to enjoy. If you haven't been to the Grange before or don't know much about it, I have some information sheets. It's a historical organization that started shortly after the Civil War to support small communities and agricultural communities and to give them a voice in Washington. And our Grange is still very dedicated to anything that supports the community. So if you're a Grange member and you have ideas about anything that you want to do, we're really open to it. We've had things ranging from magic shows, dance performances, an agricultural fair, electronic recycling, and just all kinds of opportunities. We have this beautiful performance space, and we also have a full commercial kitchen downstairs, and our hall is available for rent at embarrassingly low prices. And we aim to keep everything at the Grange as affordable and accessible as possible so that everyone can enjoy it, and most of our events are actually donation-based. So today, without further ado, I'm delighted to present to you Alturas duo, who I know needs no introduction for many of you, and also a very special treat with a pre-concert with Gianna Grimaldi. So welcome and thank you for coming.
So I would like to invite my teacher, Carlos Voltes, to the stage right now. He's been my teacher for probably about 8 or 9 years. I started off with the violin when I was younger, and then when I turned 9, 10 years old, I started on the charango, and I found out about the instrument because he would accompany me when I played violin, and one day I was just kind of like, oh, I like that better, so I switched, and now here we are. And I'm going to be 17 in a few weeks, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. second part of Alturas duo for our next song. So the song we're playing now is called El Mercado Testaccio, and I would like to dedicate this song to my grandmother. It is an old Italian folk song, and it means a lot to me. It's one of my favorites, actually, and so this is for you, Nama. play is called Alturas, which is it's a Spanish folklore, not Italian this time. Sorry, South American, not Spanish.
Different places.
This is actually one of my personal favorites, so I kind of convinced Mr. Voltes that we would have to do it today, so that will be our next song.
Explica la palabra partida, ¿qué significa?
Okay.
Mayor.
So the la partida, the word itself has a couple of meanings in English. It means I'm leaving, like chao, la partida. It means to like divide something in half, partir something. And la partida means the beginning of something.
So the same word has three opposite, contrary definitions. It's very.
I don't know if that's relevant. I'm just saying that. Thought it would be interesting to add while he's getting his viola. So we're going to do that.
that I will be accompanying with is called Subida. I don't know what else, really else to say.
Subida.
Okay.
Now this song is quite challenging in the charango, and that is the song that she plays the best. I always complain. She always complains. No, it's too hard. I don't want to play it and hard. And then that takes like 2 weeks. And then when she gets into, she plays better than anyone. Okay, let's do it.
So what you do? We'll follow. Thanks very much. I don't know how we're supposed to follow that, but I guess we'll do our best. You know, charango virtuoso, you got me. Anyways. So Carlos and I have been playing together for 20 years, and in that time we spent, I know.
20 years?
That's a long
She
time.
wasn't even born.
It's longer than all my marriages combined. It's terrible. And the girlfriend. He's my longest relationship. It's an outrage as far as I'm concerned. Is this something? I'm filming this, aren't I? Wow, this is great. Okay.
You
Sorry.
can edit that. Yes.
Please do. Anyways, so we learn these pieces, just in case you don't know, we learn these pieces when we go to South America. So we do a lot of touring there. We both have family there, so we spend quite a bit of time there until recently. And so these tunes that you're hearing us play are all learned by ear. And so that just literally means we'll go to a place like this, someone will be playing something, and that's cool. and we'll just sort of watch and pick it up.
And we
then,
steal it.
Yeah, you steal it.
Literally.
Well, no, it's the folklore traditions, the oral tradition. There's no such thing as stealing. A lot of these pieces, you have no idea who's written them. Kind of like fiddle tunes from England or from here. You don't know who wrote these tunes. Maybe blues tunes, it's the same thing. It's all oral tradition. So we take them and we make them our own. So this first one is called Ben Ami, and we learned this in 2013 on a trip to Bolivia to honor the composer who had recently died. Bit in the middle there, and this next song have to do with something that recently happened, which I'm sure you've all heard of, and it'll matter more to you, to some of you, than to others. But Eddie Van Halen died a couple days ago. Yeah. So for those of you who are like, let's say, 60 and under, like I am, 50-ish roughly, Van Halen was the reason most of us play guitar, because if you think of the late 70s, it was disco and punk, and no one was playing the guitar back then per se.
I wasn't born.
Yes, you were. You were. It's so born. In high school, whatever, weren't you? Yeah, anyway. So, now you just ruined it. What do you think? No, anyway, so when Eddie Van Halen came along, he just made it like just ultra cool to play the guitar. And so, because of him, a whole generation of people like me, who were born late 60s, early 70s, picked up the guitar and started playing. And I can remember I spent the entire summer of 1987 watching Live Without a Net on videotape from New Haven, which I'd never even heard of before, and now I live beside New Haven, 30 years later, 33 years later. It's just so weird how the world works. So I spent the entire summer trying to figure out, because you can't do it on classical, but on electric you could. So if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be playing guitar. And it's funny how your life is marked by that. You can think of all the different memories. When I was younger, I remember my friends would draw pictures of him, or with said party, or when I was in the military, said tune would, on the plane or whatever. So let's dedicate this next tune to awesome Eddie Van Halen. It's called Ventolera. And why am I mixing those two things? Because this piece is, again, folkloric music from South America, but it contains everything from both of our pasts. So in my case, that includes a lot of Van Halen riffs and licks and the kind of scales he would use, even though, according to him, he didn't even know what they were. He was an ear player. So we'll have that, we'll have classical music, we'll have jazz, we'll have a lot of South American, and we just stuff it all together and make it our own. So, Ventolera from the Chilean folk tradition in honor of EVH. And just as an an aside, quarantines don't allow us to rehearse. It's okay. We'll do all right.
Well, when this pandemic situation started, basically I lost all my jobs, everything. But after a couple of weeks, the church that I was working, they asked me to play in music that is, reflective and relaxing for 4 minutes, more or less. So for 6 months, I've been learning a new piece every week. And after a certain point, I got rid of all the pieces for viola solo. and also, they start to ask me a little more complicated subjects, you know, the social unrest, the new generations, the Generation Z, Generation X, the great generation, and start to ask me these things. I think I had to ask some friends, composers, if they can help me. And thanks God, I received a lot of pieces for that, and I've been premiering some of them. The one that I'm gonna play, Fantasy Opus 118, is based on a gospel. The name of the song is His Eye is on the Sparrow by Charles Gabriel. By this Argentinian composer, Guillermo Sachman. That's not the song. by the Chilean composer Sergio Berchenko. Same thing, he sent me something that he considers spiritual and, you know, and can transcend, but he used a style that is kind of forbidden, forgotten. Is the minimalism. And he said he took certain elements from minimalism and composed this piece for me. don't know this instrument. Everybody knows the charango? Really? I explained it so many times that I don't need to play it.
Nicole DeLong, do you know what a charango is? Do you know what a charango is?
Only from what was played earlier.
Okay, well then you should explain it to her, she's my student.
Okay, I'm going to explain the charango just for you. Well, the charango is a very popular instrument in South America. Peru, Bolivia, Chile, Argentina, Ecuador, and south of Colombia. When the Spanish went to South America, they couldn't bring huge instruments like pianos, organs, or things like that. They only could carry tiny instruments like vihuelas, baroque guitars, mandolins, and the native people really loved this instrument and tried to copy them. But they didn't have the technology to shape the body of the instrument. And they had the idea to kill armadillos. So it was a really sad day for the armadillos. Oh wow. You see, you didn't know that the preparation.
The thing's still alive. Oh my God.
Yeah. And also know whatever armadillo can become a charango. So the armadillo has to go to a music school, study for 8 years piano, composition, violin, and then the armadillo have to graduate from music school, very hard. And then, like a good musician, has to die of hunger. And in that moment, you might be considered to become a charango. So it's not an easy path. Okay? So, now, I am ecologically correct charango player. So I use the charango made out of wood. No problem with the justice department. Okay, so this is the charango that Gianna was performing in the beginning of the concert. It's the equivalent to the violin. It even have the same first strings are the same as the violin. Then we have, thank you, Secretary. We have slightly bigger, and then the sound is deeper and nicer. Chicks love that. Chicks, I have chickens. So the chicks, when I'm playing this, they come to me. Then, this is the baritone charango. It's like the viola in the orchestra. This is the cello version. And it's called ronroco.
Say it.
Say it! But be careful with the virus. Ronroco. Comes from the word in Spanish ronco, that means deep. Or roncar, like snore, like this guy, snoring, you know. So, ronroco. And sounds like this. Chicks. The chicks, the chickens. So in South America, we like to make noise, and the higher the pitch is the instrument, the better. And how many of these you have in the band, in the group, is even better. It's called gualaicho.
The next 4 tunes we're going to play make up something we've invented that is called the Sweet Atacama. Has anyone heard that word before, Atacama, besides this bottle?
I heard.
Okay, Atacama is the name of a desert which is located in the north of Chile, the south of Peru and Argentina, or sorry, the north of Argentina, the south of Bolivia and Peru. And it's the driest place on Earth. In fact, there are places there where it has never rained in recorded history.
Like your shower.
Yes. This fool. Anyways. Come on. I don't get to
Never
repeat it.
rains.
Hey, this guy's been there more like. Anyways. Okay, anyway, so back on course. So we're going to play you some music that's going to give you an idea of what it's like to be in that area of the world. So the introductory thing is a prelude. Originally taken from a concerto, originally for guitar and cello, or lead, like the, what do you call it, the principal of the orchestra, the cellist and the guitarist play. We just put it on viola, and it's played at the same time, and it's a very sparse piece, kind of a lonely piece. And just to give you an idea what it's like to look out and just see nothing but desert everywhere you see. Following that, we're going to play Rosita de Pica, or Little Rose from the Oasis of Pica. So if you're in that desert for a long time, and it is in fact the driest place on earth, when you find an oasis, it's reason for a party. So therefore, Rosita de Pica. Following that, we're going to play something called Mirage, which was written for us in 2005 on our first official tour of Chile. A guy wrote us a piece. It's nice, called Mirage. And then in that, we're going to play something called La Rosa y el Volcán, which means the rose and the volcano. next couple of pieces are for solo guitar. The first one is by the same guy who composed the second piece that he wrote for solo viola. His name is Sergio Berchenko, a guy who lives in Valdivia, Chile, which is located in the but pretty southern parts of that country. And I think you'll hear the similarities in the style, with the exception of the minimalism. This is written in a sort of pseudo-tonada, which is like a, so it's their equivalent of the 12-bar blues, just a rhythm that everyone knows, you know, like someone can hear that and knows immediately. Obviously, it's a bit more involved. I'll start off by playing that one, explain the next pieces after that. The next 4 pieces were written by me. So I started composing, which I wanted to do for a very long time, but with musician life and touring and playing and all that kind of stuff, and not having any training in the art, you know, it takes your time. But now that everyone can't leave their houses and I don't have any more concerts, I've been composing quite a bit. And so I've written quite a few things. And I've decided that one of the things I'd like to write are a series of studies for guitarists. That is to say, people who use this hand as opposed to a pick. Both are fine, just, you know. And so I've been teaching since, well, I don't know, about 26 or 25 years now, and I've noticed similar things with students that are hard to do for professionals as well. So I thought I'd write pieces that were very, very short, about a minute to a minute and a bit long each, but just honed in on something very specific. So the first piece is based on just plucking with your thumb and releasing your fingers and using a pinky like this over top of open strings. That may not sound like anything to you, but it's hard for a starting guitarist, and in some fairly experienced ones too. The following one is just about playing one finger and then keeping it down and holding the other one down and making two different lines that are intercolated like this, but that never break. I've taught Nicole that on occasion. It's very hard, isn't it? Then I'm going to play something that has to do with articulations and how to control them while keeping another line completely melodic. Or at least let's hope so, right? I'll do my best today. And ending that off, we'll play something that you've heard many different times tonight when Carlos and I were playing, and with young Gianna as well. 2 beats against 3 beats. So what you're going to get there is 1, 2, 3, in that space. You know, like 1, 2, 3. But at the same time, you're going to get 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So you're getting 2 against 3, or 3 against 2 in exactly the same pace. Everyone understand that? Cool. All right, here's some studies for guitarists. I hope you find them entertaining. The next piece we'll play is by a friend of ours whose name is Ronald Pearl. We played the Baltimore Classical Guitar Society in 2011, April actually of 2011, and he was in the audience, and he's quite a composer, and so he liked what he heard, and he just wrote us this piece, and he said, here you go. That's very rare in the art world. So if someone just painted you a big, whatever, portrait and said, here you go, that'd be pretty nice, wouldn't it? So he did the same thing for us. So we're always grateful, and we're always hoping that if you like this piece, you'll go to ronaldpearl.com and say, hey, thanks for writing that piece. I think that's pretty good repayment if it's not going to take our money, right? So this is The Places We Left Behind by Ronald Pearl. We're going to do a little tuning here because I was banging on my guitar. We should probably tune it.
He take forever.
I do not take forever.
He used to play piano
Yeah.
and tune the piano between some.
There. of the program, except for the following piece. So thanks for coming. I hope you've enjoyed yourself, learned a little bit about the charango and the guitar, and heard some new pieces, including my own. That's pretty cool. I've never done that before, so it's nice. So we're going to end it off with Ojito de Agua and Nubes Pasajeras, which means, like, I guess the literal translation would be like watery eyes. And then Nubes Pasajeras is just like passing clouds. So if you have any questions afterwards, we'll put on our masks and we'd be happy to pretend high-five you, and you can talk as much as you want. Thanks very much. What is that? Well, you can't just do that. I don't know. Okay. I can't see that far. Come on. Get me all excited with a video game and
Oh my gosh, thank you so much for joining us on this gorgeous and special opportunity to hear this incredible music today. So I just wanted to let you know that we kind of have a plan for continued music in this series, which would include some weeks would be open mic nights, kind of whatever anyone wants to do, including poetry and other performance or music. 1 week would be original music. There aren't very many opportunities for people to perform original music in the area. Another week would be kind of chamber music sort of opportunities, duos, trios, quartets, all kinds of chamber music kind of stuff. And then we're open to other genres or opportunities. The Grange used to be known for game nights or setback or bands or, in fact, Martin Luther King used to come here to the Grange for dances in the 1940s. So it has a really long, amazing cultural history, and I hope that you will help to bring that back to life here. The other thing that I wanted to say about the Grange that I love so much is we're just really into kind of like do-it-yourself, Yankee ingenuity. If you see these beautiful tablecloths on the card tables, these used to be the curtains at the Grange, and they got kind of old and you know, ratty. And there's an Italian seamstress in town who used to be a Grange member for several decades, and she just repurposed these old curtains into these beautiful tablecloths. So I just want to gratefully acknowledge Pina Cialfi, who was a longtime Grange member. She's 91 years old right now, and she just completed these curtains last Wednesday. So thank you, Pina. She watches SCTV, and SCTV is taping this right now, and she tells me, Sue, I always see you on the TV. So, hi Pina. And then the final thing I want to mention, which is I think is so critically important, is we try and develop policies to support our communities against whatever happens, a pandemic, storms, unexpected events. This is a community center that is here to support everyone, and we want to be able to make that come to life. But we also need policies that support that. And right now I'm the co-chair of the Science and Technology Working Group of the Governor's Council on Climate Change. And we're taking public input on really important issues. And it's not just about climate change, what's going to happen with sea level rise. It's about how are we going to pull together in our communities and support each other, support our local farms, support the environment, support local systems of resource use and local supply chains. If you believe in that, please take the time to write comments to deep.climatechange@ct.gov. This is so critically important to maintain cohesion in our community and work together. If we don't agree that we need to protect nature, if we don't agree that we need to support each other, if we don't agree that we need to support our local farms and local people that are supporting these communities, I really don't know. In a state that cares about these things, I really feel very hopeless about the entire situation. So please, write these comments in. I will get them as the co-chair of Science and Technology, and you will help me to advocate for this at the state level. For common sense, practical, Yankee values, do it yourself, reduce, reuse, recycle, and protect the things we care about. And I thank you again for coming for this gorgeous music. Thank you to Alturas.
Funding for Simsbury Community Television is provided in part by contributions from viewers like you. Thank you.